Hello, and welcome to No Place Like Home, a Vietnamese exhibition here at the Museum of the Home in London, UK. My name is KV Duong. I am the co-curator of this exhibition alongside Hoa Dung Clerget, and together we are 8 artists from the Vietnamese diaspora. In the UK, when you're greeting someone, one may ask, "How is the weather?" In North America, you would ask, "How are you?" In the Vietnamese and East and Southeast Asian community, it is often for us to greet each other by asking, "Have you eaten?" And within the Vietnamese culture, through many years of war and the subsidy period afterwards, asking someone, "Have you eaten?" means, are you well nourished? Are you fed? The curation of this exhibition takes on the premise of a dining room table, or in this case, 3 low-rise curved dining tables. Here, the artists have presented some food objects that represents our notion of home. We have invited our guests here to our dinner party to share in this experience. And within our community, through meal sharing, this is our way of transmitting knowledge and culture to one another. I know that with my parents, we're cooking in the kitchen and we're eating and we're sharing these experiences. I'm going to take a moment to introduce you to some of the works that we have on display. This piece is titled The Gift by Hoa Dung Clerget and Qua Pham. This durian is made out of 3D printed plastic with layers of nail polish to pay homage to the nail industry within the Vietnamese community in the UK. It is a gift of their friendship and their conversations throughout this collaboration, and this is the premise of the rest of the works that were made in this exhibition. Throughout the making process, the artist team exchanged many ideas with each other, discussing our thoughts, executions, and themes. This was done formally through visits to the An Viet archive and informally through dinner discussions. Xuong Thuy Nguyen is a multidisciplinary artist. In this piece titled Pickled Houses, Xuong made this jar out of resin. The shape of the jar is typically found in working class homes where one would pickle vegetables or fruits. Here she has placed 3D printed tube houses found in Hanoi and placed them inside the jar, submerged inside an umber liquid. Placing these homes in a jar creates an uncanny effect that challenges viewers to reconsider their assumptions surrounding cultural values. The artwork injects urban landscapes into a drink, inviting viewers to question what cultural values are rejected and embraced. Is she commenting on the environmental destruction of Vietnam? Is she commenting on the overcrowdedness inside the jar? Carol Gervais explores photography as a performative process that generates new spaces of reflection and potential for critical action. The series of 5 photography books respond to No Place Like Home by connecting narratives encountered through the artist's engagement with family archives, community organizing, and colonial contexts here and across the Channel in France. In Reappearing Acts, the artist responds to an ongoing body of work exploring her family archive and its context in France. In Refrains, Carol documents her experience during 2021 in a community of Vietnamese women during lockdown. How do they celebrate their differences? Which languages do they want to embrace to connect with? Lastly, No Place Like Home is a collaboration with Cuong Pham and documents the Vietnamese experience in the UK context, referencing the An Viet archive. The next work is titled Twin Whisperings by A.P. Nguyen. This continues the artist's exploration and research into the Vietnamese practice of creating miniature landscapes. The miniature mountain is made out of clay, and within this clay sculpture, there is a video installation with the artist dressed in a traditional Vietnamese robe, standing in front of a green screen. She is interrogating the aesthetics and psychology of travel and movement in post-war contexts. I interpret this piece as a commentary on the fetishism of the Vietnamese culture, in particular the female form. Cuong Pham works in between and nearby sound, community, and archives. In regenerative mediations, Cuong did research on coral reefs. In particular, he found that the soundscape of an environment influences where young coral larvae settle for life, and that vibrant soundscapes can help regenerate degraded reefs. Using sound as a method of healing, he created a work consisting of 4 speakers, with sounds generated from input from the artist team and field recordings from Vietnam. The shape of the speakers are indicative of protest speakers located in Vietnam for public announcements. The records are bootleg Chinese records made in Vietnam during the ration period post-war. The records are made out of shellac instead of plastic, and covered with mother of pearl to reflect upon the coral reef research. This large-scale abstract painting is titled Ardor, and it's by Minh Lan Tran. She references her own writing and identity-based research in calligraphy. She blends writing and paint in an iterative process of reflection and integration. Multi-layered and textured, the composition evolves, responds, and changes through her own bodily actions. Coming from a background of choreography and performance, she treats the canvas as a field of tension, transforming violence through heat into passion. Hoa Dung Clerget's practice is centered on the production of objects that narrate the themes of the domestic and displacement. She uses borrowed gestures from everyday life, specifically the gestures of the women in her family and Vietnamese community. In the piece untitled The Mask itself is made out of resin, thermoplastic, nail, and nail polish. The object itself is enclosed behind a perplex box. The method of presentation references the way that museums display traditional African masks. If you look closely, there is a figure of a naked Asian woman's body painted. Why is this here? What is the artist trying to say? Hoa Dung explores how colonialism continues to shape non-Western representations and fetishes of Asian women's bodies. This last piece is made by me, KV Duong, titled Birthday Cake to My Younger Self. The cake is made out of clay, concrete grout, wires, used nails and staples, and 7-pound candles. There is a deliberate queer aesthetics to this cake. There is a single swing. The landscape and composition of the piece is uncertain. We immigrated to Canada when I was 6.5, so my first recollection of having a birthday celebration was when I turned 7. This cake represents the adult KV giving guidance to my younger self. In this body of work, I've also explored the Chinese colonialism within the Vietnamese history through this moon-shaped vase from the Ming Dynasty, with a portrait of my family from 1986, 1 year before we moved to Canada, and this piece titled Displaced Shelving, which references the Buddhist shrine and ancestor worship. As co-curators and lead artists of this exhibition, Hua-Zone Clerget and I embarked on our collaboration 2 years ago with a primary goal in mind: to establish a platform for exchange, not only for the Vietnamese community, but also for the broader East and Southeast Asian diaspora. Within the context of the UK narrative, this exhibition offers a rare opportunity for Vietnamese artists and to showcase our perspective in a Western institution for 3 months. We appreciate this privilege and actively engage with diverse voices through meaningful exchanges within our team and the wider community. Thank you for your engagement, and thank you to the Museum of the Home, Jerwood Arts, and Arts Council of England.